Between the end of yesterday's show and the beginning of today's, we could start a whole new category: sports in Antarctica. Well, they've certainly never been cooler. The Antarctic Ice Ultra is not a typical road race or even a marathon. Runners in this hostile environment cover 100 miles, and they started out Saturday in temperatures of 5 degrees Fahrenheit that plunged down to -22 at night with a wind chill of -31. Even here, they had to use loads of sunscreen while still battling the risk of frostbite. How many races threatened both sunburns and hypothermia? There were aid stations along the way that gave them needed heat, food, and hydration. And while most people couldn't run for 100 miles, period, let alone in sub-zero temperatures, dry air, and blasting wind, the winning athlete here did it in just under 22 hours and 41 minutes. It was a new record set among multiple extremes. It's the center of the week. Wednesdays are mid, and I'm Azuz with the world from A to Z. It means the world to have you watching. Next subject today is about a deepening crisis in Iran. The Middle Eastern nation is running out of water. How could this happen in a country that borders the Caspian Sea, the Persian Gulf, and the Gulf of Oman? All of those bodies are salty, the Caspian Sea having a salinity that's between fresh and salt water. Iran's largely dependent on rainfall to replenish its water reserves, and for years, it hasn't been getting it. The nation's in a prolonged, potentially catastrophic drought. That's where the government places the blame, also saying citizens have overused water, and an energy official saying the capital's 100-year-old infrastructure also plays a part. But critics say governmental mismanagement is a factor as well, with too much building and too little planning to control demand for water. The effects of the crisis have left numerous dams across the country critically low. They're reportedly at 3% capacity in Iran's second largest city. They're near that in several other places. And the nation's president says if it doesn't rain in the days ahead, there's none in the forecast. The capital of Tehran might have to restrict water supplies in December. He adds that if the drought continues, Iran may have to evacuate the city of 9.5 million. A former mayor of Tehran says that would make no sense at all. But some residents of the capital have told the BBC that they're buying bottles and tanks of water so they'll be able to flush the toilet. Iranian officials are telling people to use as little as they can and to pray for rain.
Word of knowledge. In 1984, American psychologist Norman Rosenthal described what type of mental disorder: claustrophobia, seasonal affective disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, amnesia. Dr. Rosenthal studied a type of depression that often occurs during the fall or winter. It's known as seasonal affective disorder, or SAD.
This darker season has you feeling down. You're not alone.
Seasonal affective disorder is really just a feature of a major mood disorder like depression.
Clinical psychologist Craig Sawchuk with Mayo Clinic says symptoms of seasonal affective disorder come and go with a change in seasons and can include feeling sad, sometimes described as feeling blah. Limbs can feel heavy, there's low energy, and a tendency to want to sleep more.
When those symptoms start to become more prominent, they start to cause problems in day-to-day living, then that's when we look at a difference between just having winter blues versus actually being a problem of clinical concern.
Sawchuk says focusing on lifestyle factors can help maintain a regular sleep schedule instead of being tempted to oversleep. Exercise can also help improve mood and health overall, and he says to stay connected.
Making sure that we're avoiding the avoidance and avoiding the withdrawal, making plans, being accountable with others, and healthy supports can be really helpful.
Light therapy can also help. Sawchuk says using a light box for about 20 to 30 minutes when you wake up can provide symptom relief.
Experts say the winter blues and seasonal affective disorder can make people want to hibernate, to stay in bed longer, stay alone longer, which is why experts underscore the importance of social interaction, spending time with others in person, doing the activities you enjoy. That can be key in overcoming the symptoms of SAD.
On this date in world history.
November 12, 1954, the Gateway to America closed its doors. The Immigration Processing Center on Ellis Island in New York Harbor had been in operation for more than 60 years. An estimated 12 million immigrants passed through here on their way to a new life in America, and it's been said that almost 40% of Americans, including yours truly, have an ancestor who came through Ellis Island. It's now a tourist attraction between New York and New Jersey. On this date in 1970, tragedy struck Southeast Asia. What became known as the Bola cyclone, named for one of the islands it washed over, was the deadliest storm on record. It claimed between 300,000 and 500,000 lives. Its effects also contributed to regional tensions and a war that resulted in the independence of Bangladesh.
Where in the world? This is a nation originally established as a kingdom in 925, but it achieved its formal independence from Yugoslavia in 1991. You'll find it across the Adriatic Sea from Italy, and its capital is Zagreb. This is Croatia, a country of about 4.1 million people.
It might look like these guys are just dumping rocks on the ground, but they're actually participating in a rich cultural tradition. Croatia is lined with dry stone walls, like ribbons curling across the landscape. The Forgrada Dragodid Association runs workshops to keep the tradition alive, training a new generation of dry stone craftsmen. The association wants to raise awareness of how valuable the walls are and to help preserve the land for future generations. They're not the only ones who value the walls. In 2018, UNESCO added walling as an art form to its intangible heritage list. That status pays tribute to generations of workers who shaped beautiful structures and entire stone landscapes in the rocky karst. You would think that being added to the UNESCO list would lead to protection. However, Croatia's dry stone walls are still under threat. Between construction and development projects, the structures are often relocated, damaged, or destroyed. Some of them are quite old, over a century, and deteriorate if not regularly maintained. Dragodid is looking to change that. Under the guidance of a skilled, educated builder, participants shape and place each stone with precision. There are 4 rules to drywall construction. Prevent cracks, place the largest stones at the bottom, use just the right smaller stones, and of course, be careful about your back when lifting. With no mechanical or mortar binding, these walls rely on precise selection and placement. It's a skill that has been passed down through generations, and the walls are a beautiful reminder of days gone by. But they're also important elements of infrastructure, supporting drainage, reducing soil erosion, protecting livestock, and even creating homes for small animals and insects. The stone barriers even act as a fire break and hold back landslides during extreme weather. Promoting the importance of stone walls could inspire developers to actually integrate them into new developments rather than simply removing the historic structures.
Starting today with the Department of Defense school we heard from at our website, Mrs. Sinitz or Sinat's class. Great to see you at Stuttgart High School. The Panthers are watching from Stuttgart, Germany. Mr. Harding's class is next. From Sharpsburg, Georgia, we welcome the Timberwolves of Lee Middle School. And how about the Firebirds? That's the mascot of Willis Junior High School, where Mrs. Roberts' class is with us from Chandler, Arizona. Why did the sea lion cross the road? It didn't, and that was the problem. On a rainy day in Washington State, a large mammal decided to park there and stay in its lane, even staring down a police vehicle. Said the law enforcement department, this wasn't on their bingo card for 2025. But United Press International says rescuers were able to convince the sea lion that a nearby river was a better place to be, and police used Photoshop to, well, make him an honorary officer. You could see they were lying about that. But the road was no place for pedestrians. It needed to Galapagos somewhere else. Oh, sure, it might blubber about that or protest quietly with its lips sealed, but even a roadside diner would charge a lot of clams for calamari or anchovy pizza, so before its stomach selfishly starts grumbling it's time to go fishing, it's probably best for it to skedaddle. I'm Carl Azuz for The World from A to Z, hoping the best audience ever gets in the swim with us tomorrow. You mean the world to me.